Okay guys, now we're going to get into we want the categories in the sidebar to be automatically generated and also the most popular. Now, since this is located in basically a partial, the sidebar, and you could say the same for the header and the footer, we don't really have a controller for that unless you want to put code in every single controller where this is going to be on that page. But what I do in situations like this is use a helper. Alright, and that's exactly what we did in the last project for the sidebar. We had a helper to fetch categories from the database. Alright, so let's go to our Notepad++, and just want to close a couple things here for now. First of all, you have to auto-load, or not auto-load, but you have to load your helpers. So in the auto-load config file, I'm going to go up to helpers, and I'm just going to add to it here. And it's going to be called the DB helper. So I'm just going to put DB. And well, probably use the form helper as well. So let me put that in as well. Alright, so I'll save that. Now I'm going to go to my folder, my application folder, and inside the helpers folder I'm going to create a new file and call it db_helper.php. Okay, now helpers are not classes, they're just groups of functions, so we don't have to worry about encapsulation or anything like that. These are basically just separate functions. Okay, so let's add a little comment here. Get categories. Alright, so this is going to be function. We don't need public or private or anything like that. Function get underscore categories underscore h. And the underscore h isn't needed. It's just something that I do just to know that it's a helper function. Feel free to call it what you want. Now, since we're not in a library, we're not in a controller or a model, so if we want to deal with the database, or a model rather, you don't directly deal with the database in a helper, you actually connect to the model. But we can't say like this product model, we can't do that. What we need to do is get an instance, because we're not directly in a controller. So to do that, we want to create a variable. I use CI, alright, for CodeIgniter, and I'm going to say equals get underscore instance. Alright, and that'll bring a controller, a CodeIgniter instance into this function. And then we can do things like CI. So what we're going to do right now is deal with our, we'll say CI. Actually, let's create a variable first. Models, because categories. Let me get rid of this. What is where the classes go that deal categories with equals CI. If you want to fetch all the products in the database, product model in the products controller, then we need to reach into the products model and get it, and then just alright, so return. That's how MVC works. Categories. So let's open up controllers. Alright, so products. I'm actually going to usually you'd see this DB, you'd see this the THIS keyword, this, but since we're in a helper, we can't use that. We need to get an instance to a variable and then use that as an object to access our models and so forth. So obviously right now we need to create the get categories method inside of the product model. So let's save that, go to the product model. Alright, now we need, like I said, we need to get them from the model. But we're going to store them in the data array, because that's what's going to be passed to our view. So we're going to say
Okay, so here we'll say public
products
function get categories.
This product underscore
This should
model,
be a really easy function. I'm just going to actually copy the get products. It's basically the same thing, just a different table.
So what this is essentially doing is
Alright,
it's
so
going
I'm
to
going to change products to categories.
and it's going to look for the get products function that we're going to create.
And everything else
so let's go ahead and
should be the same. So
models,
let's save that, and then
we actually need to create
we should be able to, in our products,
we need to call
in our sidebar file,
product
we should be able to access the helper function, which will access the model, which will access the database. Alright, so let's go to views,
controller, and then we have the product
layouts, includes,
and
sidebar,
it doesn't have to be that way.
and find the categories. Alright, so
naming convention.
Categories are right here. So under this UL, I am going to say PHP.
So what we're going to do is just like the controller, we're going to
for
create
each
a class, and it's going to be called product.
We want to say for
model,
each get,
and we need extends CI underscore
get categories H.
Alright, so
as
let's create our
category
get products,
and we only need to take one of these, and PHP end for each.
And you'll see some real similarities with this and our last project.
Okay, and now I'm going to get rid of all these.
So public.
So for every category in the database, it's going to spit out a list item. And of course we want to make this dynamic. So let's replace this
in the last product
with PHP echo
project. I probably would have
category
get product
name.
camel case, but CodeIgniter has a convention of using
underscores. Let's see if that works.
So when I use CodeIgniter, I usually use underscores.
Okay, so we're getting an error. Undefined variable get categories H. Alright, so this is actually our helper function. It shouldn't have a dollar sign. Let's make sure that's the name of it. Get categories H. Yep.
Active record, which
is kind of a shorthand. And there we go. Now you can see that these are being pulled from the database.
Alright, so
now basically I want these to link to the products controller.
Pass in the asterisk.
And actually I'm going to have them go to products/category. So let's just add that as a link.
Just kind of a different way to deal
to
with
each category title.
I actually like this
so we'll
way.
say PHP echo base URL.
And then we're going to create a query variable and set that to this.
And then it's going to go to
get
products/ category / and then the category ID.
Result. Alright, so that'll return us result rows.
So let's make sure that that does that. Products category
so what
2.
We're doing is taking what we returned from that.
So now what we want to do is
storing it
under most popular. Right now it looks like it just has the category names, but what we want is listings
and then
from our orders table. Okay, so we don't have any orders now, so I'm just going to throw in some.
And then products.
Just log in here.
You can then use that product variable
and
in a
I want to go to orders
an array. So
and then insert. And let me just fill in some stuff. Product 1, user 1, transaction ID can be 0, quantity 1, price $59.99, address
PHP echo
55 Main Street,
product, and this is going to be
Boston.
in object-oriented form. So we want to use this arrow, and then we can actually take any of the field names from our database.
951.
Let me just go to PHP-myAdmin.
Alright, so we have an order in there. So what we want to do is we're going to do the same thing. We're going to use a helper function. So in DB help, in DB helper, I'm just going to paste in a simple function. Alright, so get popular H, and same thing, we're going to get an instance, and then we're going to call this get popular function in the model, and then just return the products. Alright, so let's save that and then go to product model.
Products.
And I'm just going to paste this in.
For each products as product.
Alright, so with this example, we're actually using it like how our last project did. We're actually putting in the query. We're not just using this this style of active record. Okay, we're actually saying
we can either
select.
Define it in our controller.
Wait a minute.
Or we can auto load it. So
never mind. We are using the same kind of syntax.
And you want to go down.
Select p dot. What we're doing though is we're kind of using
the name of the model, and then we
placeholders, or not placeholders, aliases. We're saying select orders as O, products as P. That way we can differentiate fields by table. So O.product.id is pertaining to the orders database. P.id is pertaining to the products database. Because what we're doing is selecting products, but we're we're selecting orders, but we're joining in the products table so that we can actually have things like the product title, things like that available to us. And then we're just saying we want to group by product ID. And then, of course, we're just going to order by total, which is going to be the number of records returned. I'm sorry, not the number of records returned, but the number of instances for each product. If you have a product that has been ordered 5 times, and then you have a product that's been ordered once, the one that was ordered 5 times is going to be at the top of the list. That's what we mean with this order. Alright, so hopefully that was somewhat clear. So I'm going to save that, and in our sidebar,
each and every game we have,
and go down to this most popular, and I'm just going to overwrite this entire unordered list. Make it smaller, so actually we're saying for each get popular as popular, and then we're just spitting out the title.
The image.
Alright,
I'm going to change the image,
and we can actually have a link to the actual product, so let's do that.
And let's see. I think that's it.
Base URL, and then it's going to go to
actually the images
products slash details slash, and then we want the ID, so PHP
URL function
echo,
and then it's going to go to the
popular
folders slash images
ID
slash.
Alright, so if we reload that, now you can see most popular. We only have one order, so that's what's showing up is the Destiny game. Alright, and if we click on that, it takes us to the details page.
Let's just put the link in there.
So that's the most popular, and I think that's good for now. In the next video, I want to get into we're going to create the cart controller so that we can actually add products to our cart, and then ultimately we're going to use a PayPal class to actually bring the customer to PayPal to make payment.